Let's talk dual plenum ratios. All right, guys, I had a question about dual plenum, pre-chamber versus secondary chamber, what sort of sizes and angles and stuff like that. So I'm going to give you some quick rules, some fundamentals that will help you basically design it really, really quickly and get a really good average, somewhere to start your testing. Because I'm helping a dude in Sweden at the moment, another guy in Italy, and I also noticed I had a comment on one of the videos about it. I'll see if I can find the comment and actually post it up. But basically what he was asking was, what sort of taper should we have versus plenum? And I've talked about this before in angles. What I'm going to do is talk about it in ratios so you can use it across, 3, 4, 6 cylinder, 5 cylinders, etc. Right? But really, really good airspeed target. So anyone that's familiar with dual plenums, a pre and a post, you'll know what I'm talking about. Cosworth, Le Mans, they all use them. So what we do is we have a taper here. So our second plenum has a parallel roof. It doesn't taper up this way like a single plenum type deal. So a lot of 4 cylinders and bits and pieces will use this method. And I had some questions about, obviously, this taper. How do we work it out? What sort of volume ratios we need. So I've talked about this before, so I thought I'd do another quick one. Just put some numbers on the board for you so you understand. We've talked about throttle body airspeeds before, 150 feet per second at peak. And our slot, so our transition slot here, that will be here, that feeds the secondary plenum, we want that 100% bigger. So we're dropping that down to 75 feet per second to feed the secondary plenum. And the taper is we establish by what it is, 6 cylinder, 4 cylinder, and so on. And really quick, the end, rather than using an angle, because when I first started doing these, I used to use like 5 to 7 degrees. But then I started doing some math on the area at the back versus the area at the front and 6 cylinder and 4 cylinder and stuff like that, and realized there's a better way to do it rather than angle, similar to runners, because it's all about airspeed at the end of the day. This is why I don't like angles on runners. I like to target airspeeds, right? So for this example, on a 4 cylinder, whatever our throttle body is targeted at 150, let's say it's a 64 mil, the back area, the last point that's feeding your last cylinder, we want 1/4 of that. And that's because the air that's coming through here has to feed, obviously, 4 cylinders, all right? Then when it gets to here, it has to feed 3. Then when it gets to here, it has to feed 2. Then when it gets to there, it has to feed 1. So the rough area of that part of the taper to this part is going to be 1/4 of the throttle body size, and vice versa. And you can step it up and have a D, what we call a D cell area, which is what we use in our shotgun manifolds. Generally, if your throttle body is too quick, but generally you can drop that down to like 125 or even 100, but the same rule is going to apply. So even if it sort of come in and stepped up, we're going to keep that taper the same, right? And for a 6 cylinder, obviously we want a 1/6 ratio. So the throttle body here to the back, that back is going to be 1/6 of the throttle body. And that'll give you a fairly stable velocity gradient across it. And even if you put this in CFD, it's going to get you close straight away, and then you can play with the fine tuning. And again, like I said, with the slot, at least double what your throttle body area is. So if your throttle body area is like 4,500 square millimeters, this is going to be 9,000 in there. And yeah, this allows obviously a parallel roof or a slightly radius roof to help with the secondary mechanisms in the plenum, and obviously it gives you a better spread than putting a throttle body here and having the problems that creates, right? Same as throttle body distance. So we can have the throttle body a lot closer, because you wouldn't want a throttle body here, right? If this was a top plenum, you'd want to move it away and have the throttle plate somewhere over here, right? So we've got a little bit of distance, and then you might elongate that radius a little bit on the start. And there's obviously different things you can do, but with this design, we can get the radius pretty close. We can get the throttle body pretty close, or the throttle plate, because we have a transitional slot to obviously stabilize it. And then this is going to feed, so we're equidistant to every cylinder. So they're all going to get the same amount of air, and you'll see that in your EGTs. They're really, really good. As I said, Cosworth have done them for years. We've played with them for about 20 years, and they are really, really good for, again, like cylinder to cylinder spread. Because even with forward throttle body, even though you just do averages, you're always going to get some sort of variation across the plenum at different RPM speeds, because like exhausts, as the frequency of the engine goes up, our overlap time becomes greater and greater and greater, right? This is why you need bigger pinches in your merge collectors as you increase RPM. But yeah, they're the quick rules that I use. Target the throttle body to 150 feet per second. You slot to 75. You ratio the taper for the plenum at 1/4 for 4-cylinder, at a 6 for 6-cylinder, and that will get you really, really close straight off the bat. All right, guys, I hope that one helps. It was just a quick one because it was a question I had floating around. Cheers.